Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. I am Abigail Logoriba, an author, content developer and a life coach. So today I'm going to be talking about my twin publication. Yay! I recently published two books, yes, two books at once, and I've got lots of people asking me questions. How did you do it? Two books at once? Don't you experience writer's block? All of that. Did you self-publish? Did you get the services of a traditional publisher and all of that? So today I decided that I'm going to answer all the questions in this video. Okay, I outlined all the questions, so I'm going to take it one after the other. The first question is, how are you able to publish two books at once? Okay, first we need to see the books we're talking about. Yay, this is Wholesome. And this is Fading Sun and Other Stories. Can you see it clearly? Wholesome and Fading Sun. We'll get back to it later. Okay, so the first question is, how are you able to publish two books at once? Okay, the first book, Wholesome, I would say it was an inspiration from God. I had always been a writer since I was a child. I had always been a writer. I'd always loved to read books. You know, growing up in an African community and as a young girl, I was very inquisitive. I needed answers to a whole lot of questions, and you know, sometimes you ask some questions and the elders will tell you, oh, the answer is too much of an information for a young child. So I began to read books, a lot of books. I get books, read books on confidence, read books on the nature of man, read books on so many things, fiction, non-fiction, biography of people, autobiography. I read lots and lots of books as a child. I read books bordering on faith in God, sexual purity, abstinence, all of that. So many books, like I had so many information in my head, and to an extent I was convinced that I had answers to most of the questions I needed as a young child. And I also kept a journal. I had a very strong imagination, so everything I imagined I wrote down as a child. Yes, as a teenager, everything I wrote down as a child. Funny enough, I still have that journal with me, but no longer in use. It's just kept somewhere. So I had a strong imagination. First of all, I read lots of books growing up because I needed answers to questions, and I kept a journal too. I kept writing and writing and writing, even though I did not know how to plan the structure, the characters and all of that. I just wrote. As it came to my head, as I imagined, I wrote. In the university, I went on to study mass communication, and I took a course on creative writing to brushing up the writing skills. And over time, write. But for some time, I paused writing, and it got to a point. After the university, about 5 years later, I began to get words in my head like, you need to publish a book. And for me, I wasn't ready to publish a book at all. I knew I was going to be an author someday, maybe perhaps I'll start with a book. Well, I began to hear voices. If you're a writer, you will understand what I'm talking about. But this was sort of different because the message I got in my head was for this generation. That was what it was all about. And it was like the Spirit of the Lord speaking to me. God said you needed to write a book, and you title it Wholesome. The book is for this generation, basically for every teenager, every adult on a journey from self-discovery to finding purpose. You know, a whole lot of teenagers, a whole lot of young people do not find purpose on time in life. And they need to go through certain process before they end up discovering that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to be in life. And I began to hear words, write this down. I kept arguing with myself, arguing with my spirit. I'm not ready to write a book, please stop disturbing me. I'm not ready to write a book. But I realized that once I made up my mind, I took up a pen, I started writing, and I pick a topic that's given to me. I pick a topic, I'm done with it on a sitting. the next topic I pick, perhaps the next day I'm done with it on a sitting, and everything in my head, everything God put in my head, I was just pouring it out in that book. And in less than a month I was done with the book Wholesome. I'm going to talk about the book as time goes on, as we progress in this conversation. Let me answer a question. Someone asked, do you experience writer's block? Writer's block? Not at all. The funny thing about writing for me is that once I sit down to write the book, or once I sit down to write anything, until I'm done with every single thing that has to do about that topic, I won't stand up from where I'm writing. I would write everything, and not just because perhaps I'm too knowledgeable or perhaps I'm too intelligent, but I would say basically my writing is all about inspiration. Some persons say you don't just say inspiration, just start writing. I don't just write like that. I am inspired to write, and when I'm inspired to write, I know that the message is for somebody. And once I take my pen, until the book is full, until every single word is over, before I drop my pen, not because I feel I'm satisfied, I've written all, no, but because that's all the message that is meant to be sent out, and I'm done writing. So we're going to talk about, as we progress, we're going to talk about the book Wholesome. We're going to talk about the book Fading Sun. Another person asked me, with 2 young boys under the age of 5, as a mother, how were you able to cope? Okay, on that question, that's an amazing one. Motherhood is a career itself, and it's quite a challenge. It was quite a challenge. It's also quite a challenge trying to write. Writing has to do with lots that you have inside of your head, and you have to pour it out. And sometimes if you are too engaged in so many things, you may not be able to write down what you're supposed to write down until perhaps you forget or something. But the good thing is, I do lots of late nights. Yes. I do lots of late nights. Some people say you're not fat. After 2 kids, you're still looking like an under 16. Yeah, I do lots of late nights, true. And not because I cherish late nights, no, because I know there's a message for someone in my writing. There's a message for someone in the words that I write. So I need to write it down, not just even because, oh, you need to write to be called a writer. No, I know that there's a message in every word I put out for somebody. So I take up that pen and do lots of late nights. For the books Wholesome and Fading Sun, it actually came sometime last year, about from September to December. So I leveraged a lot on the kids going to school. At the time that they go to school, from morning till about 2 p.m. I take my pen, I write. That was how I was able to get Wholesome and Fading Sun in less than 3 months. Yes, I was able to publish that book in less than 3 months. So it's not really easy being a mother of 2 and being a writer, having to publish a book. It's not really easy, but the challenging part is that you have to do lots of late nights. And now that the nation is on lockdown, I'm stuck with late nights, yes. So let's move on to the next question. Did you self-publish, or did you get the services of a traditional publisher? I self-published my books. Yes, after writing, I got people to do the book design for me, do the proofreading, the editing, all of that process. I got people to do that for me. After I got my manuscript ready, I hired the service of an editor. After the editing process, the proofreading, the graphic designer, and then the final printing and publication. So I self-published. And if you're wondering, oh, she self-published, I don't think the book is up to standard, just get a copy and see. You'll be so amazed. The book is a bomb. It won't explode you anyway, but it's going to bring up fireworks inside of you to be all you were created to be. I assure you that. So I self-published my book, and I can assure you once again that it's going to be, in fact, it is one of the best books. It's going to be a bestseller. Okay, we're moving on to, do I have more books to publish? Ooh, I have so many books to publish. The only challenge I have right now is time, and I believe that it's going to materialize. It's going to come to pass. There are so many books on the lifeline. I have their topics already set. You know, you have to have a working title anyway. You need to have a working title before the final title. But for my books, Wholesome and Fading Sun, as I was giving the title, the first title, the working title was the final title. So I have lots and lots of books coming up. Some others I want to convert them to courses that I'm going to give out to people. Yeah, for a fee anyway. So I have lots of courses coming up, and I have lots of books also, because so many people need to get messages that can transform them for good. Yes, so it's not just entertaining, it's not just educative, but it's inspiring, and it's taking you up to the next level. Yeah. Okay, so we're moving on to another phase, and that is talking about the book Wholesome. Yes, this is the book Wholesome. I'm showing it to you once again. Wholesome, a factual and inspirational guide to living a fulfilled life. That's Wholesome. So like I said earlier on, I'm not going to do lots of repetition. Wholesome is a factual and inspirational guide to living a fulfilled life. God gave me the message in this book for this generation. Yes, and it has various topics in it, ranging from originality, talking about your uniqueness, appreciating your uniqueness and all you are, who you were created to be, how to find yourself. Wholesome is a book that takes you on a journey. It takes you on a process from self-discovery to fulfilling purpose, to be able to also know how to overcome challenges. So I have topics on originality, I have topics on decision making as a bedrock for a successful future. We know that the life we live is based on lots of decision making, and what informs our decision making process is the knowledge we have, our values and everything. I wouldn't be telling you all of that. Get the book Wholesome and then you find out more. I also have topics on understanding purpose. I have topics on faith in God, safe sex, contending the original plan of God, which is abstinence. So the book Wholesome is a complete dosage. It cuts across every sphere of your life as a young adult. Now, for teachers and principals who would love to get this book, I assure you, when you get this book, it will also inspire you to know how to relate with young ones. Yes, and for adults too who are still on a journey to finding purpose, I recommend the book Wholesome for you. There are also topics on faith in God. I analyzed faith in God, how to build your faith in God, and what faith in God is really all about. So all of that is in the book Wholesome. Please get your copy, not just to enrich me. In fact, it's at the lowest cost possible, so that everybody can get the book. It is to cause a transformation in your life. So it is not just to enrich the author. No. Get the book to enrich yourself. You can get the book on Amazon. You can get it on Okada Books. You can also contact me, Wholesome Life with Abigail Luboriba, on Facebook to get this book. Yes. So we're moving on to the book Fading Sun and Other Stories. Fading Sun and Other Stories is a compendium of prose and poem. I have lots of stories in this book. I have lots of poems in this. Yes, it's a fictional book, but it borders on the everyday life of every human, from teenage to adulthood. It talks about love, it talks about family, it talks about purpose, it talks about faith, and all of that. The first story in the book, Fading Sun itself, is a story that is very dear to my heart. Yes, the first time I wrote that story was for an anthology, yes, that we had in the university. I wrote it in that book. The title of that book was Credo, an anthology. It was a compendium of prose from different writers, and I thought, since the story is dear to my heart, I could write it as a first story in my own book. And I enlarged the story. Like, I had so many aspects to the story. It's all about a man who struggled for his life. Basically, a woman who struggled to save her husband's life at all costs, but to no avail. The the man finally died. But in the end, would they be a shadow of themselves, or would they live as though the man was alive? So get fading sun. I also have topics on, okay, there are various topics in the book. Yes, there are various stories, various titles. I have Shattered Dreams. I have there's a story in the book, Shattered Dreams. Shattered Dreams is about a young guy. Yes, a young guy who was very intelligent. He had everything a young boy should have. But in the end, he got influenced, he was pressured, he went off the good track onto the bad track, and he lost his life in the process. So Fading Sun is also a complete package for everyone, for every teenager, for every adult, every couple, yes, every mommy, every daddy, every mother, every father. So please get your copy. You can check Fading Sun and Other Stories, a compendium of prose and poem on Okada bookstores and on Amazon. Please get your copy. Thank you so much. Okay, we're not done yet. Someone asked, what would I love to tell intending authors and young writers? Okay, my answer to that is keep writing, keep believing, keep brushing up, keep learning a lot. Read and read and read. You'll agree with me that we are in a generation where most people do not read, and it's bad for us. It's bad for leaders of tomorrow. It is said that readers are leaders. Very true. Please keep reading, keep writing, brush up your skills, learn, read vast and wide. Okay, that's what I have to tell intending authors. And believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe you can do it. Take up your pen, write, start writing. Pick up a title, something you want to write about. Write about it till you're done with it. Don't pick and drop and write and drop and write and drop. Something about my book Fading Sun. I had all the stories in this book are stories that I've written one way or the other, years back. So it wasn't difficult for me at all. I just had to put all the stories together. I had to put all the poems together. I could say only a few poems that I recently wrote, but all the stories and almost all the stories and all the poems, I had to put them all together. I brushed them, I worked on them, and then it's good for you to read. You will enjoy them. In Fading Sun and Other Stories, a compendium of prose and poem, I have a poem about Nigeria. In fact, I wrote this poem sometime last year, but if you look at the current situation in the country, you'll be amazed. That poem was an inspiration. I picked up my pen, I started writing, and I wrote from beginning till the end on a sitting. Every message in that poem is what is currently happening in the nation Nigeria. When you get the book, you'll be amazed. Just read it. The title of the poem is Save the Land, Save the Land. And everything I wrote in that poem is currently happening in the nation. So for intending authors, intending writers, keep writing, keep writing. In fact, let there be a fire in your imagination. Keep writing, imagine things and write. The beauty of every writer is the power of their imagination and the power of inspiration. So if of all those things I've said to you today, you did not get anything, I want you to get. You have to be determined, you have to be focused, you need to strengthen the power of your imagination, and you need to strengthen your inspiration. You should have your ears open to hear. You are not just yourself. Yes, we are all created by God, and God inspires. So when you open up your ears, open up your mind eyes, you would see, and He'll tell you what to write. You'll be inspired on what to write. Your imagination also helps. So it's a combination of a powerful dosage, yes. So you need to write. So that's all I have for intending writers. Any other question you have to ask, you ask on this video, or you can send me a DM and I'll answer all your questions. I hope you enjoyed this time with me. I too did. So once again, these are the books: Wholesome and Fading Sun and Other Stories. Please do get your copy. Thank you. I love you all. Bye.